Welcome, welcome, welcome. And today, we're going to discuss exactly why and how is it that The Office is most definitely, without a doubt, most likely, with no debate, the greatest show ever. Now, I say that, and ironically, I'm going to practically debate exactly and give you reasons to why it is indeed the greatest show ever. And the reason why I do this, I've had three conversations with people having to explain to them exactly why The Office is the greatest show ever. Now, I guess with that logic, you would think to yourself, well, shit, if you had to explain to three different people why it's the greatest show ever, it must not be that great in people's eyes. You're right. Now, to clarify, the three people I brought this up with, they didn't say it was bad. Actually, for one person, he's just anti-Office. I don't know why. Don't be the anti-Office guy. Don't be the anti-Office guy, okay? It's a great show. I really love me some tea. So anyway, let's get into this, right? Now, originally how this started is I was chilling with a friend, and then I think we were watching The Office, or we were watching TV or something like that. And basically, he said something about, I guess one of his friends saying that The Office was a bad show and Friends was better, and I snapped. I was like, how could you say such blasphemy? That there is no way that your friends can possibly believe that Friends is a great show and The Office isn't. And so it began. I didn't have to, but I chose to. I tend to sometimes go into rants and analyze things way beyond belief. But anyway, I started by first of all breaking down exactly how and why The Office is great. As I started that, I was like, hold up, let me backtrack. Let me just go back a little bit here and let's break down exactly a sitcom, okay? Because what we're talking about here is two different sitcoms. We have The Wonderful Office, and then we have Friends, which to me, in my mind, and to be fair, I like to try to not be the most biased, but to be fair, I have not watched Friends. I think at one point I may have contemplated it, and now just like, what's the point? Why bother doing that? I'm not going to watch Friends. The reason being, and I've actually read a few articles about it, unrelated to any of this, I just sometimes scroll through and click on random articles. It talked about Friends. And I think the most recent one I read, I think I've only read like two maybe, I don't know, it kind of just went into like, I guess, the universe of Friends, and I was just like, without watching it, and even before watching the article, I could already kind of tell what Friends was, alright? And to me, how it comes off as more like at its time, it was like a modern day drama soap opera. I don't see it as much of a sitcom as like, or an ensemble, how like The Office is. And again, we're gonna break down why The Office is better in like a few seconds here. But that's how to get that clarity there, okay? So after basically looking at Friends, I was just like, I see what it is, I see how it plays through, and I may have seen a few episodes here and there randomly, like in the past. It was alright. Like, I'm not saying it's a horrible show, okay? I'm not saying Friends is the worst show ever. I'm just saying that there's no way in hell that it's definitely better than The Office. It's just not possible. So, when you look at Friends, here's what you get. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, you can definitely do it. I'm gonna be wrong. Because again, I've never watched it. I've watched The Office like 6 times. Who hasn't? Everybody I know has watched The Office at least twice. But Friends, I haven't watched it. So, I'm kind of speaking on my ass here. But, the way I see Friends is you just have literally that. A group of friends. Like what, 4 or 5 people? Those are your main characters and basically nobody else fucking matters. And then you follow their life and story more like, I don't know what you're following, but you're just following this group of friends. That is it. I don't really understand its relevance or how it relates to anything or how it can connect to many other people aside from a very small cult following that can have potentially a group of friends. But I also see it as generally unreal because it's just like, in reality, unless you just live that friend's life, that shit is not relatable. It's just not. I mean, sure, there are definitely scenes and episodes where definitely you can relate to something, and I get that goes with pretty much anything. But here's why The Office is better. Because The Office, and again, they're both sitcoms, but The Office, obviously being based around a office, does not focus on just one singular group or one specific main character or even a few main characters. Everybody there essentially is a main character in The Office. There is not one singular like pop out main character. And in fact, you can say that's not true. But here's where the plot twist comes in. To you, the main character could be, for example, I don't know, Dwight. To somebody else, the main character could be fucking Michael Scott. Because in every episode, it encompasses all of The Office and then some. It does not just stay within the realm or the building of The Office, though that is obviously where 80% of everything takes place, is in The Office. That is the group that we're looking at, so I guess there is a group. But again, you have like what, 10, 15 plus people that you're looking at in The Office, versus in Friends it's like 5, 6, 7, I don't know, maybe. And here's where it gets better. In The Office, each one of those characters in The Office is most definitely, again, a main character or more or less a contributor to this ensemble, and they all complement each other and interact with each other. There's no cult circles. There kind of is, but that's life, and that's what makes it great. But there's no like specific cult circles to where, hey, everybody has to revolve around this group or this character. They all revolve around The Office. But The Office is more or less like that meeting place you go to. They come from their own lives, and they live their lives within The Office while still maintaining their outside background. Okay? And that's where it gets better. In The Office, you don't just look at the randomness of an episode that resets in the next episode and is completely irrelevant in the next one in just The Office. It still does have and establish, in a sense, some type of storyline, but there is no direct storyline. It's more like, again, workers in the office living their lives, and we're seeing their lives in The Office. Okay? So you get character development, you get essentially kind of a story, because at certain points it does develop on, and you kind of see everybody kind of going towards something or working within it, and they all share it. No one person is like that one person only is going to get it. They all come together because they're in that office, living that life together, okay? So there are some episodes where maybe some characters get more spotlight than others, or it might be kind of geared more towards a certain character or a few characters than others. But even with that, guess what we see? We see all the characters in those episodes establishing themselves and living their lives still around that potential main character. So even if there was a main character like episode, it still reverts back and shows you the rest of everybody else. It never just encompasses and solos one singular person. It takes everybody, because everybody is in this show. Everybody. So even if it does have, there are a few episodes like that one season where definitely where Pam was in school, and we still see Pam's school life, right? But then at the same time, we also see the rest of the office and what they're doing, and just the life, how it continues on both aspects. We see them come together, disappear. We see like more focus on this person's background for a certain episode because it's trying to again develop more of the story of what goes on behind the doors of the office. Okay? And that right there is what gets in the hearts and souls of anybody that watches The Office, because The Office also isn't geared to just one set of person, okay? There isn't like a cult following of The Office. There is a grand following of The Office. And the reason why it has a grand following is because there's so many different characters with personalities, backgrounds, stories, goals, and just their own humor and things that come together that anybody can relate to it. Even if you don't like a certain character, you might have something you can relate to with that character, or maybe the next character next to him. There is something in that show for everybody. Okay, are you following that? So, again, The Office at its core follows a group of workers in the office. And at times we see other characters outside of the office that still are part of the office universe, obviously. I say universe in a weird way, but I mean like they're still part of that main plot. Because like, again, you have like Michael's boss, All right, so you see like the corporate side, and they sometimes come down and disappear. Sometimes they go to the corporate. Like it follows whoever is going out to corporate or how corporate influences them in their lives. Relatable. This is how it all becomes relatable. Even though the setting is office work, and maybe not everybody goes to an office or goes to something like that, it is still blandly relatable cross board, because even if you're a kid in school, guess what you do every day? You get up, you go to school, you go to class, you go to a place where people come on a regular basis, just like the office. See what I'm saying? And at school, you deal with many different people. Many different people. Sometimes people outside of your group or your circle. I never had a circle. I had many circles. I was not bound to one. So I was just kind of everywhere. I bounced around. That's what makes The Office great. Is you can sit there with a group of friends and you guys can all watch The Office. And you guys can all enjoy The Office. There is something in there for everybody. And if it's not in that one episode, it could be in the next one. Or the next one. Or maybe it's just not that season for you. I don't know. But The Office just brings together everybody outside. And when I say outside, I mean the viewers. It brings together everybody while also bringing together everybody in the show. That's why The Office is great. Because it can relate to anybody and touch so many different people in different ways. While still giving you a show where, like, you're not bound to a story, or like if you miss an episode, like you have to play catch up. There are a few, like, 2-series episodes, and there is definitely like a timeline to where if you miss an episode here, it might come back up later. You're like, oh wow, what happened? But it's nothing super serious to the point of like, oh great, I have to watch like the third episode again because I missed a critical detail. No, it's a sitcom. So in other words, every time you turn on that damn show, you can shuffle that show. Every time you turn it on, something new happens. And that's what's also great about The Office, is like every episode is a new adventure or a new story or a new concept, a new idea. Something is always new in there, and it resets in the next episode versus having to continue on. And that is what makes television great. So, what have I covered here? We have covered that The Office has various characters of no main focus, of no real storyline. There's a storyline, but it's more of a lifeline. You know what? Let's call it that. Let's call it that. The Office has a lifeline. You follow life versus a story, okay? You have a lifeline. It's relatable. It's not specific to a quote number of people, which even then, I mean, you watch what you want to watch. But some shows just kind of are like, it's not for me. Sometimes people want to relate to things. That's how I am with music. I don't like listening to things I can't necessarily relate to an extent, or people just want to feel part of something. And The Office makes people feel a part. So, anybody has anything to say about why The Office is a bad show, I would most definitely love to hear it. I'm pretty open, but I'm also very biased. Office is a great show. I've watched it like 6 times. I was very sad when they took it off of fucking Netflix, RIP, because I had just was about to start watching it again, and then it was gone. I didn't believe that it was going to leave, because I'm like, that's cap. Then I turned it back on and it was gone. Now it's on Peacock. Can't find it anywhere else but Peacock, I swear to God. One day I'm going to buy the whole damn box set. I'm going to do it. One of these days. It's not today, though. I'm too broke for that shit. But regardless, if you have not watched The Office, I implore you to do that. I really want you to watch The Office. Some people say it's not for them. That's fine. At least they tried. But you have to give it more than just like the first 3 episodes. I feel like the first season is definitely more of a starting season of it trying to catch its place. It definitely has the comedy there, and it's just like, okay, what am I watching? But it's a show where you can just sit back and relax. I don't know how else to put it. You can just sit back and watch it. Which I guess that is really any TV show. So that sounds stupid when you say it out loud, but I don't know how to describe it. I really don't know how to describe it. It's just a good show. That's all I gotta say. And with that, I think I rest my case. Even though I feel like I'm missing something. If I am missing something, let me know. Or if I'm missing something, I don't know, but who cares? The point is, if you haven't watched The Office, please do. Because it has so many different tones in it. Like, it's a comedy that you can relate to and you can see in your regular life, but then it's also like absurd, just like, dude, that's never gonna happen, and you kind of wish it does, and you wish life is that way, and then you kind of start to see things differently, and you're just like, I don't know, it's just The Office. It's just The Office. Yeah. Yeah. And there's some also really good episodes in there. Like, yeah, it's obviously a comedy, but some episodes, like, again, it really touches the core of media. Like, it is like, I don't know how to put it. It is just like the best of TV. Because there are some episodes that are like so, like, what's the word? My brain, I had it and I lost it. Like, it has a topic and it's a subject and it like focuses on it. And it's just, I don't know, it just takes things into out of proportion. I don't know. I said what I had to say. I've said my piece. I've set the record straight. Just watch The Office. If you don't, you don't. But if you do, bless your soul. Wonderful show. I think one day I'll do another video again. I think next time I'll do a diagram. Wow, that's great. But next up, I'm going to do Futurama. That's next on my list. So, stay tuned. Psych! It's not over yet, so I forgot to mention this when I did my Futurama video. So now it's like a nested Easter egg type of Easter egg. LOL. But, yeah, so I forgot to mention this. Like, in The Office, again, like I said, it's a life story versus, like, a story-driven show. Again, things happen in there, and they don't always reference it the next episode because it didn't happen. It's like, they kind of time skip. It could be, like, days later, weeks later. But every once in a while, in some episodes, they'll reference things that happened in the past, and you're just like, what are they talking about? Like, oh, that thing happened to so-and-so. That's why he's being acted on like so-and-so. Like, my friend actually brought up this good point when, how did I forget his name? He's kind of nameless anyway. But the intern. When the intern got the nickname Fire or some shit like that because he left, like, that foil wrapped burrito or some shit in the microwave and blew it up. And then they didn't talk about it for a while, and like a few episodes later it came back up, and if you don't pay attention, you're not thinking about it, which you don't have to, it's okay, you can watch it, then you're like, oh yeah, that did happen in that one episode. So they do shit like that. It's pretty funny. Like, they keep the history in the show of things that happened in the past, but without like constantly feeding off of it. Everything's fresh and new in the next episode. That's why I love it. Which also brings me to another point, another thing I forgot to mention. So, laugh tracks. So I've been watching Seinfeld, I like Seinfeld. I watched Big Bang Theory, I love Big Bang Theory. Both of which are definitely 10 times better than Friends. I'm gonna sit here and dog on Friends. Yeah, they're both way better than Friends, okay? But my friend brought up this point too, of like laugh tracks. It's like, you put a laugh track in a show. That means you think something's funny, but you're not sure it is, so you get to add a laugh track. Now, to be fair, back in those times in the history of TV, laugh tracks were a big thing. I think it's weird to think of a show without a laugh track that has it, because you're just like, where's it at? Where's the funny? I don't really care about the laugh tracks that much. Sometimes I just like, okay, I see your comedy there. It's not always like the funniest thing. I'm not gonna die laughing, but I get it. But it's also kind of like, if it didn't have that, what would this show be? I get the idea that the show is supposed to just be a regular show. It's somebody's life. You're watching somebody's life, basically. I get that's why they have laugh track, because sometimes things happen, and it's funny, but it's funnier to some than it is to others. You know, it's that kind of deal. But when I was discussing The Office versus Friends, he was like, yeah, Friends had laugh tracks. And I'm like, again, didn't watch Friends, so I'm not too familiar with it. But that's right, it does have laugh tracks. And I totally forgot that it had those. And I'm just like, that does not seem like a laugh trackable show. It's weird to think of, like, Friends with laugh tracks. I mean, I can see certain moments where it's like, okay, that was supposed to be a funny part. But again, I, in my opinion, described it as a soft, modern soap opera. It's kind of weird, right? So I get like this theme of attempted comedy with soap opera themes, and I'm just like, so where's the funny at in here? I don't get it. Like, I just can't see it. And then there's The Office, which is just funny. Like, there's just funny shit that happens in The Office, and it doesn't require a laugh track. That's classic comedy. Classic comedy. That is the last thing I forgot to add to this video, and now I've added it to this video, and now I've completed this video. Yee, yee, yee. So that's really about that. I'm gonna sit here and sip on this tea bar chocolate probably, but until I think of anything else I may have forgotten. But at this point, I think I've definitely covered it all. That being said, once again, if you think of anything, please let me know. I really want to know what you're thinking. If you disagree with me, please let me know. If you agree with me, let me know. If you have friends that disagree with me, send them my way. If you have friends that have not watched The Office, I encourage you to sit down with them every time they come over to your house. You go over to theirs and you guys watch The Office. It's a must. And the show is a great American classic. That is TV at its finest, primetime S-tier TV. Okay, it's just great. Yeah, if you need anybody else to explain anything about a show, or somebody needs an explanation about a show, specifically in this case The Office, send them my way. We will set them straight, promise you. What a wonderful show. What a wonderful show. Well, if you guys excuse me, I'm going to go for a run now. Oh, my chocolate is hot as hell still. I run at night. It's fucking hot. It's hot, man. Drink your water, peoples. Get an AC if you can. A better one. Mine's trash. Well, that is some good chocolate. But yeah, that's all for now. I thank you all for tuning in if you did. And I love you all. Enjoy The Office and Futurama. Remember that. And Big Bang Theory. And Seinfeld. Have a wonderful night. Or morning. Or day. Have a time of day.